What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Red River Horror Podcast. I'm your host, Joe Zakreski, joined by Eddie Cayazzo. Hi, Ed. How are you?
Joe, I am doing fan-freaking-tastic because I am here with you about to talk some horror. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I forgot to say that you founded the entire website. I mean, I usually nail that, and I completely missed it. But hey, that's okay. That's what brings us here.
We're not big on titles here at Red River Horror.
But we're here at episode number 46. Can you believe it?
Wow.
As we say after every episode at this point. Can you believe it? Yeah.
Yeah.
How thrilling.
Traveling the channels of fear for 46 episodes?
46 weeks, yeah.
Wow.
You think about that.
That's probably when, and we talked about it before, that's probably when we started week after week watching the Phantasm series, 1 to 5.
Yeah. Yeah. Started with Phantasm. There was another movie we watched during that time. So, for people listening, Ed is not aware of what the topic is right now. I said, you know what? He's like, what are we going to do? I was just like, how about I surprise you? And so that's what we're going to do. If you saw my Twitter today, then you might have there's your hint.
Ooh.
About what I might want to talk about.
Ooh, and hopping on that Red River Horror Twitter. Ooh, that reminds me.
I said, I'll take a bad idea for $500. And now what I want to talk about was also considered a bad idea at the time, but we actually watched this during those quarantine movies. Mm-hmm. It's one that we hold near and dear to our hearts. We've talked about it as, I guess underrated or gets more hate than it deserves on this show. Do you want to take a guess, or you want me to just tell you outright?
Let me think.
Okay.
We watched it during quarantine.
Mm-hmm.
I might be able to hone in on this.
I think you can.
The Blair Witch Project. Would that be Book of Shadows? Blair Witch 2?
You are correct, sir.
Oh, what a good one.
You are correct.
Yes.
And the reason for that, I was like, you know what? Because Lionsgate teased this picture here, as you can see, called Escape Blair Witch. And on Lionsgate tweet, the official Lionsgate Twitter said, "You've officially been warned. Escape Blair Witch." So I said, I'll take bad idea for $500. But that, what that comes with is the history of, I guess, what is now a Blair Witch franchise.
I guess so. This would make a fourth film, right? In the quote-unquote series.
The funniest thing is the only one I've never had a negative experience with is the one that I guess is considered the worst, which is Blair Witch 2.
Mm-hmm.
So let's start with, the first one has the letdown of, the found footage. And then, we were kids. And a lot of people our age were duped thinking that was real, and then it wasn't real. They're like, and it's a slow burn.
Yeah, and I was a big MTV watcher at the time, and then you have this incredible marketing campaign, and then all of a sudden, at the VMAs, as you know, I was a huge pop music fan, Backstreet Boys fan, so I'm watching the VMAs.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, and the cast of the Blair Witch Project. I'm like, what?
Cast!
Rolling Stone said this was scary as hell. One of the scariest movies of all time.
Yeah, they played it off as if it was found footage, and that's where it was revealed that it wasn't found at all. It was all staged brilliantly.
And Heather's from Upper Darby.
Get out of here!
Yeah,
all right, that's very cool.
Yeah.
Cool fact. So with that being said, there was a sequel plan. There was Book of Shadows, and it doesn't do the same formula. The idea behind it, I think, is just genius, because it's like it acts as if that was a found footage movie, right?
Yep.
And now this is just a regular movie about people who are obsessed with the found footage movie, who there's local people who have tours of the woods where, the footage was found.
Right, so you got fans of the Blair Witch Project.
That's incredibly clever.
Yes.
It definitely, it doesn't, we're not saying it's the best movie of all time. We're saying that we like it.
Yeah. If you haven't seen it,
this one it's just special to us. And, I hope that someday we could even have people sit outside and we can, do a screening of it.
That would be a good one to screen.
Yeah, we'll call it second chance features.
I like that. And you know what makes me feel like your take on things could get tainted when you see other people's opinions of films. This film, Blair Witch 2: Book of Shadows.
Yep.
I feel good about my feelings on it. I think being strong in that and that they are positive. Mm-hmm. Christopher Sneed, the programmer of the Fly Film Festival out in Enid, Oklahoma, he's a big Blair Witch 2 fan.
Oh man, we should have called him up.
So it's like
he would have given us their time. We should call him up sometime.
We should call him. And so like I always think, am I on with the horror community? Am I gelling? Like, are my tastes right? Do I have the right feelings, even though they are my feelings and my own? And I'm just like, okay, well, if Chris likes it, then that's someone whose opinion I'd value in film.
He's a really nice guy and really into like the indie film, and he was, so supportive of us with like two small projects.
Yep.
And so welcoming. When that was actually your second time being in Enid. That was my first time going there. We building relationships with these interesting small spots, and hopefully we can get back there someday just to show our appreciation for the film buffs of that town.
Yeah, so show some love to the Fly Film Festival. It actually stands for Films Like Yours out in Eden, Oklahoma. And I will say that I had never been to Enid before, and I just want to give them some love because the films that beat us were outstanding. I actually saw the Dark Tapes for the first time. Now that's a wide release. I saw, the Red Pill, Cassie J. We met her, the filmmaker.
We did.
But Christopher Sneed is the programmer, and, he decides what gets seen. And
I think he's since taken a smaller role.
Okay. Well, he got that thing. He got that thing going and bigger. And when someone like him says to me, "You know what film I actually think is good? Blair Witch 2," I'm like, "Shut up."
Yeah. It's a fun movie with some interesting twists. Some very hokey acting, but what do you expect? I mean, aren't most horror movies with cheesy lines and silly acting?
What were we to expect from Blair Witch 2?
That's all you could expect. So I don't know what people were expecting. And so it's the one, and before I get deeper into the positive memories, I'll start, was referenced 2 episodes ago about my experience with Blair Witch 3, which was at RPX at the Regal.
Really perplexing expense. The classic tweet.
Yeah.
Classic tweet.
Really perplexing expense. Yeah. So that 3 just from most uncomfortable thing I've ever watched. And that not in a movie way, but in just the seat was awful.
Yeah, well, it was sold as this. Well, the screen's bigger, the sound's bigger, and the seat's bigger and a lot more comfortable. It's like, oh, so we're paying what, like $10 more, or maybe not $10. That's an exaggeration, but
yeah, and it wasn't fit for that. It really wasn't. Similar to like my first IMAX movie, which was Constantine, which wasn't really built for IMAX. I guess maybe 1 or 2 parts, but you know how movies are really edited, made for an IMAX experience.
Christopher Nolan will film in whatever that, I can't remember, was if 35 millimeter is the regular, I think then that's 70 millimeter.
Yeah.
Like Christopher Nolan will say, oh, this is meant for IMAX.
Exactly. And so my first 2 experiences with those, but the IMAX was significantly better than that RPX. I don't even know if they call it that RPX. And it has a different name now. It's been completely rebranded because it was just so awful.
And the seats didn't recline. That was the big. It's just it's got that new reclining seat thing. No.
Yeah, no. You were straight up. It was like the ride, The Outer Limits in Disney World, where you're just kind of locked in. So it's I get the idea. It just didn't work, and it's horrible to sit there for something that's 90 to 120 minutes.
Yep.
Anywho, so there's 2 negative experiences, and then I was already given this one shit, and it's you know what, too? It's one of those ones we didn't see it in theaters. There was this guy in high school who had a patch from the movie. I don't even know how he got it, but he always had it on his backpack. He was a couple of years ahead of me, and I was like, yeah.
It's a cool logo. Cool symbol.
It was very cool. Yeah. It was very cool. And then, we sat there. We were in your back, the TV room, the smaller one. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of extras at the end that point out all these little things that you missed. and it makes you want to watch it again to see if you can catch it. So they're like, for example, so there's one scene where they're walking by, it's a row of lockers, and so there's locks on the lockers, and in a split second, in one frame they change to a pentagram.
Yep.
And then change back. So there's like little subliminal symbols,
and Joe, I'll
throughout the movie.
Take that a step further. So it was called The Secret of Esrever, and it was a VHS tape. Luckily, my dad had a VHS player where it was clear, because the one in my room, we wouldn't have been able to do that.
No.
So you play this featurette at the end of the film. It's like, make sure you stick around after the credits, and then this featurette will play, right? And it's explaining what The Secret of Esrever is. So you're watching, and in the bottom right of the screen, there are letters.
Yeah.
So you're writing the letters.
That's right, yeah.
And so we're writing out the letters. It's like the decoder ring thing in the Christmas Story. Yeah. You write them out, and that gives you the scenes in the film to go back to see what The Secret of Esrever is. So, yes, the one was the pentagrams. The other was like a reflection where like a guy looked like a ghoul or something like that. Another was the writing on the tombstone when we first meet the goth chick.
Yes.
That changes real quick. And so it was fun.
It was a lot of fun.
Like, I was so into that kind of stuff. And in a way, even though that in itself wasn't scary, I was like, the suspense killed me for each thing. It's like, oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, it made us want to watch it again.
Yep.
It really moved a 2 out of 5 canoe to a 3 out of 5.
I would solid 3.
Yeah,
yeah.
And just mostly because of that.
Yeah. It was a fun experience, and like you said, the concept of the Blair Witch Project being a film, people being fans of that film, and then coming to the town where it all happened and wanting to experience.
Yeah, it's not a real sequel. It's a movie about the movie.
Yeah.
I love that stuff.
Very clever.
It's like something that I've learned to appreciate over, more so over time. But that was definitely like the first time it really caught me. There was something else that came out around that time that was very self-aware that just made me laugh, which wasn't horror. It was, I don't know if you remember, they tried to air, it might have been on Fox or something. It was Clerks, the cartoon.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, it only aired 2 episodes.
I can imagine why.
So
even Fox couldn't get that one across?
No, and that's like they just put stuff on and then cancel it immediately. There were 6 episodes made, but only 2 aired, I believe. And the first one is the pilot episode. And the second episode is Jay and Silent Bob get locked in a freezer, and it's a clip show, like a flashback episode of the first episode.
Nice.
Which is, stupid little things that aren't valued. Like that's funny to me. I find that clever. Just like I find Blair Witch 2 to be more clever. I mean, you don't have to be like it wasn't made for awards. It was made for fun. And of course, one of my favorite things that makes me laugh in it is the soundtrack.
Yes.
Yeah.
I guess we'll get into that first. You want to get into the soundtrack?
100%. I don't want to beat around the bush. I want to go right to it.
I know you love this part. I'm in, man. I'm ready.
Right. So as we already mentioned, there is a character she's a goth girl. She's got she's not goth. She's Wiccan, right?
Yes, correct.
That's right. Because that's kind of her thing in the movie where they say she's goth. She's like, no, I'm Wiccan.
Right.
Wicca or Wiccan?
Wiccan. Yeah. Both. So like you could be she's a Wicca and it's Wiccan.
Wiccan. Embraces Samhain. So either way, so what made me love the soundtrack so much is there's this scene where she takes off in the middle of the night and jumps in this van and she's slugging a beer and blasting, some badass track. And it is POD.
Oh, that's perfect. Yes, she hops in the van to get the beer, and oh my gosh,
it's like that's
we're the one, the chosen son.
That's it.
So the Wiccans rocking out to the Christian band.
The Wiccans rocking out to that Christian nu metal band POD.
Yes,
it's Wiccan when it's a white guy with dreads, rap singing.
The best part about all that is now people, I feel like now our entertainment does have to be a bit more accurate. back then it was probably some guy that's a part of the writing team that's just like, okay, yeah, you know what? She should be listening to like something heavy, something that, proves the point. It's like, oh, okay. Well, who's on our roster of the record label we're working with?
Wing and a miss.
Yeah.
And I feel bad. Well, we'll give them credit. I mean, it was put together. They give him credit. Carter Burwell, I guess. Was that?
Okay, he did the music.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the director chose, like, I don't remember the
Yeah, I'm
guy's
trying
name.
to see which label they were linked up with. My guess is Roadrunner, because these look like a few Roadrunner bands. And it looks like a mix. So it's not really linked with a specific label.
Okay.
So a lot of these are from different labels. But I'll shout out some of the songs and bands if you want to see if you can remember it at all.
I'll try. I will try.
Well, track 1, The Reckoning by Godhead.
Nope.
Which is, off the top of my head, some good industrial action there.
Okay.
Now you remember that because that's like right in the beginning.
Okay.
Fast forward a little. There you go.
Okay.
Nothing too crazy, but it's basically like it's just really used for that, like the darker part.
Don't remember it in the film, but I could totally see it being used.
Yep. And the next one is "Lie Down," which is our POD song that we were just talking about.
Oh yeah, the only part I remember is her just pulling up and then coming to the stop, and it's like, "We're the ones that chose the
Oh yeah. Oh man, that is how that gets you going, especially if you're Wiccan and slugging
juiced.
a beer.
Yep.
Next one is a song called "Good Lament" by Tony Iommi and Dave Grohl.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so that's not something you really expect to hear on there. This is playing in the this was literally made for the movie.
Okay.
This is what plays during the montage of when they're all fucked up and dancing around, because that's what the music video is actually made for. So it's definitely a promo song that was made.
And it's got like sequenced drums, so I'm guessing Grohl is not on drums on that track.
And now it looks like he's doing like so much singing on that one.
Aha.
So, hey, all right.
I got another confession, my friend.
Pretty cool. Oh, where'd you go? Oh, I gotta pull it back up again.
Well, I actually know the next one.
Oh, do you? Hold on,
do.
let me pull it back up here.
You got it.
Let me pull it back up. I lost it. Well, we better know this one. That is Dragula by the incredible, not very edible Rob Zombie.
Hey!
Yeah.
If you didn't have Hellbilly Deluxe when you were our age, you can go kick something.
Or at least borrow it from somebody. I mean,
Yeah, right.
Come on. Come on.
Me and Joe D from Different Take, I believe that was in one of our CD swaps back
Good
in the
swapper.
day. Yeah.
It's a good one. Next one is off of System of a Down's self-titled album. That is Mind.
Any
Pretty
good?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a long one. That whole album's really good.
I remember System of a Down when they were first out. People really liked them a lot. I never really got into System of a Down except for the more hooky stuff. Mm-hmm. But I do recall them being pretty. People like, oh, this is something different.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. That's what they did. It's pretty cool. There's if you know me, you can ask me for a link. I have a video on YouTube. It's like a show of theirs in 1997 at Whiskey A Go Go, which is pretty cool to see because they have like sign up for our email list, and
Oh man, that's so cool.
it's very, very, very 90s.
Yep.
Very late 90s, I should say. All right, let's try. Let's see. The next one is "Stick It Up" by Slaves on Dope. I think I know that song, but whatever.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, they really load these up. "Suicide is Painless" by Marilyn Manson. You gotta have some Manson on these soundtracks.
You do, but to enter the film, so I'm surprised that one is on the soundtrack. I don't know if it was cheaper to put on there, but what was Beautiful People? No.
Disposable Teens.
That's right. That was in the open of the film, going through the woods.
Yeah, Disposable Teens opens the movie, and that's not on there.
Yeah, like if I were, I would be. This budget. I think the budget for Blair Witch 2 was 15 mil, which like
You could get Disposable Teens.
come on.
Because it was a hit, they were like, let's just put something else on there so, get some traction.
Yeah, and that's fine, but maybe you put that as a hidden track. I would want, if I'm buying the Blair Witch 2 Book of Shadows soundtrack, I want Disposable Teens, especially because it opens the film.
It does.
But whatevs.
It's a good song. Very good song. We got here Soul Auctioneer, Death in Vegas. Nope. P.S. Project 86. Nope. Old Enough by Nickelback.
Oh my gosh, really?
Yeah.
That must have been... So you actually, and not to embarrass you, because it was very informative, you went to a Nickelback show, I think, at their period when they were probably at their biggest commercial success. Was that the Dark Horse album when you saw them live?
I saw them at a Y100 festival.
Okay, so that wouldn't have been...
And I saw them with a couple of our friends at in Atlantic City.
So that, was that the Revel?
That they were coming off of some kind of big release, I think.
So I think it was Dark Horse. And I'm saying, the reason I say not to embarrass you is, as you can imagine, Chad Kroeger is extremely intelligent with what he's putting out there.
Sure.
So you told me the story that he told you during that show is that I'm guessing during that time when that song, what's that song called on the soundtrack?
That is called Old Enough.
Old Enough. So I'm guessing that was the period before when he was talking about, he said, you know, I just remember our first tour, we were all packed on like a truck, not even a bus, like a truck just driving around, and it was hot and it sucked and it was terrible.
Oh, yeah.
So he's like, I never want to do that again. So I wrote this song, pretty much, is what he said about how you remind me.
How you remind me, yeah.
And what song is still played on our local rock stations all the time.
Does that still get played?
It does. It's
Wow.
the only one.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I mean, it's fun to do Nickelback jokes. The second time I saw them, that was a free ticket and a trip in Atlantic City. So
Yeah.
why not?
But I'm saying I love
The first time though. I mean, I liked their album. Was it The State, and then the second one was Silver Side Up?
Yes. I
And
love
it's
that
like,
album.
you know, How You Remind Me was fine until it was, not fine. It
Sure.
just never stopped.
Yeah.
I mean, it got a lot of play.
It did. I was, by the end of the summer that it had come out, I was done. And I loved it. When I entered the summer, it's like, oh my gosh, this album is incredible.
Yeah, burn out on that one pretty quick.
Yeah. But no, you're right. And again, like I said, not to embarrass. Like I love when people tell stories like that, because it's like, okay, I get you. I feel you, man.
Yeah, it was that and Smooth Criminal. Alien Ant Farm, Smooth Criminal.
Oh, that was done by the
But
end.
that might have been the summer before, where that was just nonstop.
I'm trying to think if that was that 02, 01 or 02.
It's 2001.
Okay, 01. Yeah.
Yeah, Silver
it was
Side Up
done.
would be released in 01, but got most of its play in 2002.
So interesting to look back on
Yeah.
Nickelback before they were Nickelback.
Yeah, I mean, they blew up.
Yeah.
Good for them. Next one's another one. Another P. Was that Feel? No, that's not P. Feel Alive, UPO. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I don't know.
Tommy Don't Lie by Steak Knife. I mean, there's just some, I guess, I don't know, whatever.
I want to
grabs.
interject here. If you're any of these bands, and because you know Joe, if we're talking about a film, and especially something retro, we're going to do the deep dive of the soundtrack always.
Yeah, I mean, we'll even do deeper digs. This is just for fun.
Right. So if you're in a band and we pass over you, or we're just like, yeah, who the hell is this?
Yeah, no.
Reach out to us at redriverhorror@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you, play your songs, talk to you about the whole experience of having your song in a film or on a soundtrack like that.
Yeah, and this next one, because I've never been able to pronounce this song right, or I do, and I just don't know it. It comes off this entire album is just amazing from this band at the drive-in. The song is it Arcasional?
Okay, so you need to educate me a little bit. I thought At the Drive-In came up in that whole emo phase. That's before that. Where?
So
Yeah.
they get looped in with all of that. Mm-hmm. They
did.
come in from, I think they're at the drive-in. They're on a label that is known for like those bands, played festivals like Warped Tour and
Okay.
but they're more punchy and more like hardcore, I guess you could say. Not as emotional. Very very snippy, very snappy.
I hear the name and I'm like, it brings me back to the mid 2000s. It's like
They have that kind of name, but it's like you could just high energy,
right.
you know? Kick it up a notch. Well, this is very fitting for the movie.
This is almost industrial HUD, right?
Yeah. There it is. Yeah, so
Wow, okay.
yeah. So they get lumped in with a lot of that, but
Yes.
they're on their own level there when it
I
comes
learned
to
something new. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, if you want a song to add to your pump up, of you can do that one, but I always recommend the one that's more popular, which is a song called One Armed Scissor.
Okay, One-Armed Scissor. You know me, I like to go with the hits only because there's been so much music. You and I were obsessed with pretty much anything back in the day. So now I'm at the phase where it's like, okay, there is so much music and so many ways to discover.
Yeah.
I'll probably stick with the hits, and if I feel like going further, I will.
Yeah, I think there's another playlist that I gotta send you, which is like full of hits that we talked about before. We'll talk about that after the show.
Cool, so at the drive-in.
Yeah. And next one, Human by Elastica, which I don't know that one. And Feel Good Hit of the Summer by Queens of the Stone Age. So that's even before Queens of the Stone Age was really taken off.
Wow.
I guess it was right around the time No One Knows was about to hit.
When does No One Knows 04? 03? Okay.
I think junior year of high school. So
yeah,
2002, 2003.
That's pretty wild.
Isn't
And
it?
You know who's not on the sound that the soundtrack's done?
Yeah.
So one of the songs in the closing credits is by her name was Poe. I think she was a single
Yeah,
artist.
that's right, Poe.
I liked her.
Yeah.
Thought she was good. But that's
Yeah.
not included. I guess it doesn't really fit the
No, I mean, I guess that's the official soundtrack. I mean, that's the one that was listed everywhere.
Yeah. No,
So-
no, it's I liked that song though.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard when they put those together because I guess for each different cost, I don't know where you cut,
Yeah.
where you just don't expect album sales. I have no idea. They're always like a mixtape or just a bunch of nonsense.
But with the Blair Witch, well, just to interrupt you real quick, and
Yeah,
then
go for it.
I'll get right back. I mean, this was a film that the studio really believed in.
I mean, it had a lot of promo.
Yeah, like the film was immediately greenlit upon the pitch due to the surprising success of its predecessor, 1999's Blair Witch Project. Stylistically different from the first film, the plot revolves around a group of people fascinated by the mythology surrounding the Blair Witch Project film. They go back into the Black Hills where the original film was shot, and they experience supernatural phenomena and psychological unraveling. But what I mean is, yeah, I was right about this. Budget, $15 million. So the studio spent some money. Think about that. So this was released October 27th, 2000. October 27th is my wedding anniversary.
Hey,
Oh.
12 years before your wedding.
How about that?
How about that?
So 90 minutes long, and wow. But 15 million, so like, to put it into perspective, The Conjuring, I believe, had a $25 million budget. Mm-hmm. So 15 mil back then's a lot.
Yeah, that is a lot for back then.
Yeah.
And then another thing that I think about is I just lost it. I just had something and I just lost it. I was like kind of trying to think of like some good liners in there. So you might hear some stuff in the background and we'll see just when the line pops up I'll flip it over.
Yes.
But this is that it? Is that the part I'm thinking of?
Was it my away message on AOL?
Is that in this scene?
I don't believe so, but maybe
right.
track ahead a little bit.
What's going on?
There's a part where they wake up one morning and there's just paper everywhere flying over them. But let's see.
So my part with
This is my work. This is all my research.
Our work. Every word.
Where the fuck are my cameras? This is all of our
Is that it?
goddamn work.
no, but
No, that's one of your
How
favorites.
the hell are we gonna make
Where the
that
fuck are my cameras?
No, Tristan, the computer's just notes. You know that. Half their shit is original documents.
Where the hell was everybody? We were all supposed to be awake.
Guys, where's Erica?
So how smart was it to bring like all that paper, all those documents into the
You
woods?
must have fallen asleep.
Asleep? It's like we must have blacked out.
I know, the last thing I remember was that other tour group.
Or is she Goth and the others Wiccan?
Those
See, now I'm
fucking
confused.
dickweeds. Who else could it have been, huh?
They came back from
Oh,
Gothic
yeah,
Rock
I'm
and
sorry.
kicked us
Yeah,
out.
no, the first
There's a
one's
goth chick and a
And a
Wiccan
Wiccan.
chick. Yes.
What am I gonna do?
So
Those are the two researchers.
yeah, so you got the two researchers, the tour guide, a goth girl, and a Wiccan.
I will show you. I will show you via text here what
I'm trying to think,
the
what-
phrase is. Wait.
Yeah.
So search for this because it'll be worth it when we drop this one.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, as you can tell, we're trying to get more technology, like more tech savvy. And
Our locations keep changing, man. We'll get this. We'll get it.
oh yeah, that's it.
Yes, this was my away message
For a long time.
for a whole long time, really long time.
I think you shouted at your mom one time.
And
I don't think she cared for it.
I don't doubt that I did that. I just remember Dad getting physical. If I
Yeah,
you don't curse at your mom if there's anything you ever learn.
Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was.
Yeah.
Maybe it was just everyone else. So I don't know. This isn't it.
Oh, fuck. Did you hear that?
That's just some nonsense.
Yeah. So the
Where I'm gonna find it.
so I'll just set the scene a little bit. They all, and we're not actually, we've gone pretty spoiler free. So should we just stay that way?
I mean, we can do our best.
Okay. So that scene that Joe played already, that was their first night in the woods. They got to Rustin Parr's house, I believe, where like that remains like the ruins of the house. Mm-hmm. And they party it up, they fall asleep, they black out, and they wake up, and now they have to pretty much piece together what had happened.
Right.
They go back to Jeffrey Donovan, the actor, the main guy's house that's taking them on the tour. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, they get a call from the police. Mm-hmm. So,
Is that where it happens?
what they're finding, yes. So he's,
Oh, I got it right
it's on the
here.
phone.
I got it right here.
Here we go. Away message.
Fuck off, no one's home.
All right, we're gonna do it again.
Because I just found out who trashed my cameras. I was just about to call you.
Turn on your TV.
Come on, hold on.
Fuck off, no one's home. Please.
There it is.
That's
Oh, it's funny because I just found out who trashed my
There it
cameras.
is.
I was just about to-
We were looking everywhere for you.
So, you know what? We should clip that and have it as a soundbite.
Yeah,
That should be one
absolutely.
of the sound bites.
Absolutely. That's another. Once we find, hey, anybody out there want to be a technical producer for our show?
Oh my gosh, that cracked me up so good back in the day.
No one's home.
Yep, I thought that was just a genius line.
You know, it is because it's very fitting at the time because they're very tense, and for some reason, he figures he's going to answer the phone. Mm-hmm. You know, you go for it. You go for it. You know, here.
A few miles from the town of Burkittsville, where just hours ago, police arrested 3 obsessed movie fans who allegedly committed a series of ritualistic murders after watching last summer's blockbuster movie, The Blair Witch Project.
Oh, I just learned that this vehicle, the vehicle you see right behind me, is owned by one of the suspects, and there is blood evidence linking the suspects to these murders.
That's right.
Sadly, as has happened so many times before in this country, violent art has inspired real-life violence. In this case, it's the Blair Witch Project.
Oh,
Like how
pretty cool.
how clever is that?
That is, Joe. It was when we watched that as one of the films. It's like, what are we going to watch now that? Because it was almost like a conquest for Phantasm, and we had done it.
Yeah.
It was like we got through it. We got through 5 Ravager.
Yeah.
And we'd watched the first one so many times that we got to see it remastered.
Yeah.
So we did that last. But then it's like, all right, well, what do we watch next? How about the Blair Witch Project? Book of Shadows.
Yep.
Part 2. Okay.
That's exactly how it went down.
And honestly, it felt, watching it again, I still was just like, wow, this was good.
Yeah. Look, having some laughs, looking out for those little things. Mm-hmm. It's great.
And you were right. There is a Wiccan chick
It's a Wiccan and a Goth.
the Goth. So the Goth chick
Yada,
was
yada,
listening to POD.
Yeah, which still it's just as funny.
You're right. It is.
You know. Oh, yeah, classic. But that being said, someone out there, watch Blair Witch 2.
Mm-hmm.
Let me know. Let us know what you think. And if you really hate it, I want to know everything as to why you hate it. You can't just be like, it's just boring. That's just complete taste. Like, come on, let's have some value to that statement.
Let's have a dialogue about Book of Shadows.
Because I've never had that argument where someone said, like, I've heard people say, oh, that movie sucked, and couldn't really say why.
Right. And the only thing I can think of is, what the hell is Book of Shadows supposed to mean? Was there originally supposed to be a book? Like, did this get Franken edited? Oh, that would be a good thing to look up. I wonder if this had troubled production. Like, where studio was saying one thing and the creative people were saying another, and then it's just, Let's see.
It must have had something.
Okay, development. I thought a more interesting way of connecting Blair Witch 2 to the documentary tradition would be to try to make a movie that tells a story. Like a good documentary does, that is infused with social commentary, because that's what a documentary is. Documentary is not about shaking the camera around. It's about telling a story that has social commentary embedded in it. Okay, great. Thank you. That's Berlinger. So who's Berlinger? Let me just get Berlinger's first name. That's Joe Berlinger, the director.
Joe Berlinger, director. We should reach out to him.
And one of the writers. So Dick Beebe and Joe Berlinger wrote Blair Witch 2. So that was... Excuse me. After the massive success of the Blair Witch Project, Artisan was eager to produce a sequel while the film's popularity was still at its peak. However, Hexen Films, who created the original film, was not ready to begin work on a follow-up, preferring to wait until the initial buzz had died down. In December 1999, Artisan decided to proceed without them, hiring Joe Berlinger, who had previously only done true documentaries, to direct. So
I remember.
Wow.
Now that rings a bell, because I remember reading something about that, where somewhere like that was part of the reason what messed it all up. Like, he got a lot of shit for it.
Wow. Okay.
Definitely, we need to get somebody from this movie on this show.
We do. While developing the screenplay, Berlinger spent time in the real town of Burkittsville, the setting of the Blair Witch Project, undertaking research and interviewing locals on how the release of the film had impacted their lives. Fun fact, I actually filmed for NBC Sports the golf courses in that county. It's Frederick County in Maryland. So
yeah.
I actually filmed a television show there.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
About that.
According to Berlinger, the character of Erica represented an aspect of this, specifically the frustrations that the Wiccan community voiced after the release of the Blair Witch Project. Some felt misconstrued the tenets of Wicca and showed their religion in a negative light. Berlinger was also inspired by the lazy consumption of media that led many to accept the Blair Witch Project as a true documentary. I don't think that was lazy. I think that was marketing. But anyway, specifically how readily the public is quote, how readily the public is willing to accept something shot on video is real. He elaborated. On one hand, Blair Witch 2 works as a standard horror movie, but it also is a meditation on violence in the media and the nature of fanaticism and obsession, and the dangers of blurring the lines between reality and fiction. I think that's a success. Additionally, Berlinger incorporated elements of real-life subjects and places featured in his 1996 true crime documentary, Paradise Lost, The Child Murders at Robin Hood Hills, as well as narrative components of the stage play, 6 Characters in Search of an Author by Luigi Pirandello. This is why I love creative people, man. They always find these inspirations, and I'm like, well, now I want to see both of those, you know?
Yeah, I like his mindset on it. Mm-hmm. You know, because it's like one of those things, like hearing like certain directors that do movies that aren't, you know, huge releases. It's nice to hear, like, you know, that they're passionate about the work they put into it.
Okay.
So you can say whatever you want, but I mean, that guy gave it a shot.
Yeah. Stylistically, Book of Shadows was the direct opposite of its predecessor through the film. Though the film occasionally utilizes the point-of-view camcorder, it does. Pseudo-documentary format used in the first movie. Book of Shadows more closely resembles the glossy, big-budget, special effects-laden horror films that Blair Witch was a counter to. Berlinger stated that he originally made the film with more of an ambiguous tone that focused on the character's psychological unraveling after the night spent in the Black Hills. But Artisan forced him... Okay, here we go. Artisan forced him to recut the film and reshoot certain scenes to add more, quote, traditional horror movie elements, thus creating what they saw as a more commercial film.
Gotcha. So that's the production hell that some people go to when they try and spin their own vision on it. Then the studio just shits on it.
So Berlinger is just like, you know what? Let's do this.
Yeah.
Came up with a great concept, and the studio's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Let's commercialize this. So.
We need to get him on here. See if we can get his time. Just like when we heard like Daniel Farron's, or here what was his name, Martin Gigi.
Yes.
People getting so hype about their work and getting all into it.
So this will be a spoiler here, but it's important because you brought up Daniel Farron's, and we know the editing. Oh my gosh, the editing of Halloween 6. Even though we both love it, if you watch it now, you see it.
Quite choppy.
Right. Namely, the footage of the main characters murdering the foreign tourists was shot weeks prior to the film's release date and was incorporated into the film as flash cuts to add more visual violence. That's what the Weinsteins did to Halloween 6.
That's exactly what they did. And it's very, and what makes that funny is it's so unnecessary.
It is.
It actually takes away from the movie.
Mm-hmm. Story-wise?
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
It really does. They should have kept that part all out.
Yep. Berlinger later stated he felt the gore sequences added in the film fought against the ambiguity he tried to nurture.
And then you can tell.
Yeah.
You can tell.
Because it's just like the Michael Myers walking scene as we're switching scenes in Halloween 6.
Because if we went through what's the thing I don't like about it, it's those that are just the unnecessary gore that doesn't fit the feel of the movie at all.
No.
It's literally trying to add an element of the original for no reason. Mm-hmm. Wow.
So kudos.
Yeah.
All right. So then I'll wrap this up on the actual production. Additionally, the interrogation sequences, which are intercut throughout the film, were, per Berlinger's director's cut, arranged as a single 8-minute long sequence, bookending the film. Instead, the studio requested Berlinger cut the sequence into isolated vignettes and intercut them throughout the film. This compromised Berlinger's original vision of a linear narrative that begins as a lighthearted romp in the woods, almost as a spoof of the Blair Witch phenomenon, before descending into a downward spiral. The original cut of the film also featured Frank Sinatra's Witchcraft during the opening credits. Wow.
Huh.
And replaced by the studio with Disposable Teens by Marilyn Manson.
Yeah. Because you got, Sinatra probably would have been a little more fitting going over it's a, not a drone because there weren't drones like that back then, but, an aerial shot over the woods. Instead, you get the, I'm a black rainbow and I'm an ape of God,
You can tell the aggressive edge that the studio, so it was almost forced.
Yeah,
it was forced to be.
You need to be more like those Screams and Did Last Summers.
Right.
Yep.
Clearly.
Wow. That's a shame. We need a director's cut.
We do. I wonder if there is a director's cut.
We're starting the movement. We got to find that. We're going to start the movement for a director's cut of the Blair Witch 2, Book of Shadows. Get on board with us. Let's go. Does Lionsgate still own the movie?
Well, you said that what you saw on Twitter was from Lionsgate, so
for the new one that's in production or coming soon.
So, Artisan Entertainment was they're the
OG. So this is all right. All right. So I just found this article from March 25th, 2021.
Okay.
And then there's another one from November 5th, 2020. Director Joe Bellinger. Director not interested in a director's cut. And that comes from dreadcentral.com. So like, that's a blog. So, and this is from cbr.com, where someone is right on with us. Forget Suicide Squad. Blair Witch 2 has the ultimate lost director's cut. As the demand for a lost director's cut surges, Joe Berlinger original version of Book of Shadows, Blair Witch 2 remains an elusive piece of history. Unreleased director's cuts have long been sought after by film enthusiasts, with most recent success story being the Release the Snyder Cut campaign, which allowed Zack Snyder to finally release his version of the Justice League, which, whatever. And then they're trying to do it. Like, the DC movies, they're not that good. You can cut them up any way you want to. The characters are poorly written. They're poorly developed. It's like, well, you know who they are.
Yeah.
And we're going to add a little twist to them. How about that? Dunzo. That said, quite possibly the holy grail of long-lost director's cuts is Joe Berlinger's original vision for Book of Shadows, Blair Witch 2. Oh, yeah. So they're, we are not alone.
No. That's what, when Chris Sneed said that, I'm like, okay.
We are not alone. We're getting on board with this. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Book of Shadows, Blair Witch 2 director cast out. That's from comicbook.com. So there's a movement there, and it's a recent movement. That's probably always just been there and is gaining some traction. So
I got to do some producing. I got to find.
Yeah, if the director himself is not interested in it, I guess our odds of getting him on here are a little slim. But if we can find a writer or an actor.
Yeah. What do you want to talk? Do you guys want to talk Blair Witch 2? Yeah, actually, no.
No. I mean, we can be like, hey, man, this podcast, we had Stephen Bassett on who told the truth that all these aliens were about, like, all this information was going to come from the government this spring's early summer. And here it is.
Wow.
Pretty amazing, huh?
Yeah, it really, when the first, I think you shared with me it was a CNN article?
Yeah.
That popped out and you're like, whoa, dude.
Yeah.
Stephen Bassett talked about
Now
this.
It's everywhere.
Now it's, I mean, literally.
Everywhere.
I watch, me, I monitor all the cable news. All of the cable news channels, Fox, CNN, and MSNBC, have all now dedicated segments to this UFO stuff.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So, how about that? So, shout out to him.
Yes.
As for Blair Witch 2, we are jumping on that bandwagon of Release the Berlinger cut, or whatever you want to call it. I think this is something potential for future events somewhere. If we could find like a venue where we could actually like set up and have some fun with it. I think we call it like Second Chance Theater or something. That might be a thing. We got to come up with a title for it.
We do, and I'm actually gonna just plug our good friend Steve Feast, Keystone Retro.
That's right.
Because you know what made me think of that? I think that we should watch the Blair Witch 2 on VHS. So I got to ask him, our good friend Steve Feast from Keystone Retro, where when you go to their website, keystoneretro.com, and you buy something, well, make sure you put that code Red River in checkout. Before you check out, you put that code Red River in, you get 10% off.
Yep.
He has VHS tapes for sale, so I might ask him to track me down, because you know me, I sold all of my VHS tapes when I moved in 09.
He goes on the thrill of the hunt. So maybe we'll reach out to those Viva Video guys, see if they'll let us set up with them, use their space.
Yeah, they might be open to that.
They might be. It all comes down to dollars and cents. So
yeah, that's true. That's
this
a good
ain't
point.
going to be for free.
No, it can't be.
But
that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, so I think that could be a lot of fun, where it's like we do a movie and then we record the episode with like Q&A, or not so much Q&A, but just like everyone talking about it.
And the thing is, oh my gosh, the guy's name from Viva Video, he would be perfect because Miguel, he knows so much about film. So, we talk about it and then he'll be like, oh yeah, you don't need to pull up your phone. I got this. So he would totally be able to answer questions. I'd actually, you know what? Here's the mic. We'll turn it over to you and the people that attended, and we can get a whole episode out of that for sure.
So I figure we'll just have some fun with that. I thought that was a good idea. So let's roll. Let's roll with it. As for this, please check out that movie again. Let us know what you think. If you've seen it before, let us know what you think. Any suggestions for the show, always send them our way. We are open to it. If you want to help us out with some of the technical aspects, you're also welcome to that. But we still have some time before we get a permanent studio space set up and all that yada, yada, yada stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're still working on it. I know we say it every episode, but We're approaching our first year doing the podcast. The site is coming along nicely. A lot of blockbusters this year.
Yeah.
Going to see more reviews on the site.
Yeah.
And after we get to episode 52, might be some surprises. Maybe actually taking this Tony Todd Tuesday and Women in Horror Wednesday and putting it... Maybe releasing some content-specific things for YouTube or the podcast platform.
Exactly.
So we're having a lot of fun with this.
Yeah. Eventually, I mean, the pod's going to move to video format too, but that's just a matter of you need permanent space to make that work better.
We do.
And then also, right, what's sitting in front of you is a rough draft of the movie Jason X,
Yes,
which I keep meaning to bring this up. Is like, what if we did a table read of that script?
I would... Oh, you didn't say that before. That's a nice little surprise.
Yeah.
You said maybe we should read through it and talk about it. And
No. I'm saying we record a full read. A full read of this rough draft script of Jason X. We cast it and do a full-on fictional episode or whatever you want to call it. Like maybe do some more like fiction pods thrown in there.
that would be... You know what? I like it.
Right?
I like it.
So, yeah. So a lot of good stuff.
Well, but make sure if you have any ideas or if you want to reach out on Twitter, we are there. We will be posting at Red River Horror. Same with Instagram at Red River Horror. Email me and Joe at redriverhorror@gmail.com. I'm Eddie Cayazzo, founder of redriverhorror.com. And Joe, I'll let you take it out, sir.
Thanks. And I've been your host, Joe Zakreski. You can find me on Twitter at Red River Joe. And remember to keep traveling those channels of fear.